Hi everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I want to talk about 5 tips for how to score an Hermes quota bag. So if you're new to my channel, you might not know, or you may have come through this video, which is really popular. I recently scored my first Birkin bag from Hermes from my sales associate, and I could not be happier. It's a Birkin 35 gold Togo leather, exactly what I wanted. The perfect work, schlep, take everywhere, do everything bag. And I'm just really excited that I got it. But I've gotten a lot of questions, you know, about my Hermes journey. And so this is my video, 5 tips on how to score a quota bag. So I say score a quota bag, which isn't really true because it's about, they don't call it a journey for no reason, right? Like they call it a journey because it really is that. So there are 6 things that kind of like determine the shape of your journey. So I have the 6 variables that determine the shape of your journey, and then 5 tips. So the variables are location, chemistry, regularity, loyalty, intention, and openness. And so to kind of unpack that a little bit more, like the first one is location. Hermes has a bunch of different stores in many different countries, you know, and they're all different and kind of operate off of different rules. The rules in Canada are different than the rules in the US, are different than the rules in Paris. And so you kind of have to know the rules of your location. When I'm talking about tips, I'm going to focus on the United States because that's really where my experience is. That's what I understand best. It may apply in other areas as well, or it may not. Like it could be really different. Like I heard, for example, in the United Kingdom, really truly the quota bag distribution system is relationship based, and you know, less so. It could be more transactional in other regions. This is just what I've heard. In the United States, I would say both. So then the second thing, right, is chemistry. And chemistry with your sales associate, like how well you get along, how much you guys are on like the same page, how fun it is to be in store together, how much they understand the things that you want, what you don't want. And that's a tough one. I will say, you know, there are many elements to chemistry, just like in dating, obviously. One thing that can contribute positively to the chemistry is, of course, how much you spend, right? Like if you spend a lot of money when you come to the boutique, of course your sales associate is going to be excited to see you because it's their job to be there to sell things. That's how they make their livelihood. If you spend a lot of money and you're rude, they might be less excited to see you. So, and I know that most people who are shopping for a quota bag aren't like, oh, I know I'm gonna be rude. Like most people who come across as rude, I don't think they're like, I know what I'll do today is I will come across as rude. But it is kind of just like a matter of chemistry. Like, how do you know that somebody wants to be your boyfriend? Like, there's just a little magic there. And what's the difference between the magic and not the magic? It's like really hard to pin something like that down. The third thing is regularity. So if you go on a Tuesday afternoon and drop a bunch of money and then disappear for 6 months and then say, well, I never heard anything about my quota bag, that makes sense, right? Because Hermes stores all across the country are very crowded. And so if you just go one time and make a big purchase, you be quickly forgotten, I think, like then the people who are sort of in regular contact, like showing up, saying they still want the bag, they're still interested in their wish, they're still interested in shopping the brand. The regularity really helps you stay top of mind. Like sales associates, people that work at Hermes, they're all human, and you know, absence may make the heart grow fonder in some respects, like don't go every day. But also absence makes the heart forgetful. And so don't be absent for a full quarter, fiscal quarter. Don't be absent for a long, long time and then wonder where your bag is, right? Because it's easy to be forgotten, especially at some of these more competitive, crowded, bigger boutiques. location also, sorry, going back to that one, I don't know if I discussed this, like there's an advantage and a disadvantage to bigger, more crowded stores. The bigger the store, the more clients and the more bags and the more clients. And so it can be, big stores that can be good and bad, just like small stores, they may have a lot of clients and not enough bags. And so choose your location widely. And then this also goes back to this regularity idea, in that if you are, you know, going somewhere very far away, now lots of people don't have a choice, but if you have a choice, it's easier to stay regular if you're closer to the location, or choose a location that you can regularly go to. And I know that's not always an option, but I think the location just play into it a little bit. Okay. The fourth one is loyalty, and loyalty is another way of saying spend. And so, you know, it factors in, especially in the United States, you're gonna have to buy other things, express interest in the brand as a whole, and not just quota bags. From my experience, I'm sure there are people who have walked in, been like, may I please have a Birkin? And they've said, well, why certainly, and they've gotten it and they got on their merry way, like end of journey, right? But I think for most people, there is an element of this like, loyalty spend. And then the fifth one is intention. And so this goes back to kind of like the regularity thing. You have to make your intentions clear. You have to kind of make your wish clear. And then you also, like, there's another element of it where, you know, Hermes is trying to develop a deep relationship, ongoing relationship with their client book. Like that's a part of their like business plan. And so if you have intentions of just like scoring a bag really quick and then never shopping at Hermes again, that probably won't work in your favor. And so the idea is like the combination of the loyalty spend and setting your intentions to be a long-term client for the brand. And then sixth, and then intention is also what do you want, right? Do you want a Mini Kelly? Do you want a Birkin 35? Do you want just like any quota bag, just for whatever reason? I don't know why you wouldn't be more specific, but you know, like what is it that you want? You have to set that intention and be really clear. And then on the other hand is openness. And so this is also like, can determine how long your journey is. If the only bag that you will accept is a Mini Kelly in like, I don't know, Nata with rose gold hardware, you could be waiting a long time. If you are inflexible on the leather and the hardware and the bag type, you know what I mean? Like that could be you waiting for a long time, because if there's so many leathers and so many possible combinations in Hermes bags, the odds of them getting you that one without you placing a special order are pretty low. And so I think having an openness to a range of colors or combinations that would work for you, I think helps accelerate your journey, in that there's more options that come in that would potentially be a match for you. So those are like the 6, I don't know, elements of the journey, in my opinion. And now let's get to my 5 tips for navigating the journey, right? So here we go. The first one is to get comfortable with the dynamics. There's a lot, like I like to read Purse Forum, I like to read the Reddit pages, I like to be in the, you know, in the comments of videos and stuff. And a lot of people just aren't comfortable with the dynamic of loyalty spend, like building a relationship with the store, building a relationship with the sales associate. They don't like it. They don't like the game. They're like, I don't want to play games. I want to show up with money, get my Cheerios and leave the grocery store with my Cheerios. Like, I don't want to negotiate for Cheerios, right? Like, they're like, everything else in life works like that. I don't want to play the game. And if you can't get comfortable with the dynamics, the journey's not for you. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't get comfortable with the dynamics, maybe the resale journey is better for you, where you just pay money in exchange for like time and effort. It's a different experience. It's a different thing, but you just need to be comfortable with the dynamics. And once you kind of get comfortable with the dynamics in your head and your heart, you know, it's like mentally prepare yourself for the journey you're about to be on. It is a game of patience. It is a matter of relationship building. And, you know, like relationships don't just sprout up overnight. You know, they take work and effort on both parts. So that's the first one. My second tip, and this is maybe a controversial one. People will argue whether or not this matters, but my advice is do not accept any non-quota bags. If you are trying to get a quota bag, do not accept any quota bags. Of course, these are tips, I would say, more for beginners. If you are a VIC, whatever, yeah, do whatever you want. This is a tip, probably doesn't apply to you. But if you're a regular guy or girl on your Hermes journey, it will be to your disadvantage to take a consolation prize like a non-quota bag, because it adds to your like bag spend. And if a manager is looking at two profiles trying to figure out who to give a bag to, they only have one, and like person A has a Lindy and a Constance and person B doesn't have any bags, person B may win the day, right? If they're like the same amount of like loyalty spend, time waiting, all, like, you know, if they're equal clients in every other way, save for those one or two bags, like you want to work everything, you know, to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. Now that said, if there's a quota bag that you like have your heart on, have your eye on, you fall in love with, by all means take it, but just be aware of like, you know, that will affect things, possibly. I don't know. This is just my guess. So then my third tip, it has to do with the regularity, but I would say go to the store at least once a month, no less. Every month, get yourself up, text your SA, make a little appointment, show up at the store and spend between, I don't know, a couple $100 to a couple $1,000. You don't have to go crazy, but you have to be consistent going every month. The consistency will keep you top of mind and kind of keep it going. But then the next tip, which is keep track and don't get lost. So you're going every month, you're spending every month as you go. This is like, that's not something I normally like to do, but it's like keep track of how much you're investing in that loyalty journey, so you don't kind of get lost in the sauce, so you don't kind of get you know, over your skis in terms of spend ratio and whatever, because, you know, at a certain point, and it depends on the store, it depends on the like competition, all that stuff, depends on your ask, right? But at a certain point, at a certain spend ratio, I think it's important to reflect on the journey and ask yourself like, wait, is this working out for me? Is the chemistry there? Have I been regular? Like, you know, once you get to that, and I would say for like a competitive store, if you're like at 2.5 or 3 to 1, really reflect on, hey, is actually are all of these things there? Like, have I been clear in my ask? Have I been consistent? You know, what has changed over time? Is it reasonable? Like all of that stuff. Just to be kind of aware, because you can kind of get lost in the journey, and I've seen it happen to people, and it's really frustrating because, you know, then they're like, wait, how did I get to the point where I could literally just go invest resale to get this quota bag? And it makes it like not fun. And the whole point of like this little silly hobby or whatever is for it to be fun, for you to enjoy shopping, for you, you know what I mean, to have like a bag that represents your love for the brand. Just like the point of it is like it's supposed to bring joy, not be like this torture device. And then my last tip is, if you're going once a month, spending regularly, you've been clear about your wish, you have good chemistry with your SA, like all of that stuff is working. The last thing you need to do is build a relationship with the store manager. And it doesn't need to be like, I want to hang out with the store manager. It's just like, find out who that is, you know, say hello to them, ask them, you know, talk about holidays that have recently passed or are coming up or something like that. Tell them about the things that you bought. Like, just generally be known so that when it does happen, when that your wish does come in, when the SA asks for approval for a bag for you, they have a picture of someone in their mind, and it's not just like, huh, who, tell me about them, what's that, what's going on, you know what I mean? Like, it really is sort of a balance. And so that is my fifth and final tip for how to kind of navigate the world of Hermes and getting a quota bag and building a relationship. I would say, you know, like once you have really developed that relationship with your sales associate, the mystery kind of falls apart, you know, I mean, like the mystery kind of falls away and it becomes much more clear, you know, like much more clear, like what's going on, how to get your bag, like what bag's coming, like it just becomes much more clear after you've built that foundation. But if you're just starting out, I hope these tips are helpful to you. I hope this video helps anyone who's on their journey or working on it. I'd love to have more discussion down in the comments. Please follow me if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Okay, otherwise I will see you guys in my next one.